This is the Padua Podcast Network.
And this is why you get a runny nose when you get the flu. And also why you might experience swelling. Seems to be a reason for just about everything. Running a Fever, episode 241, Inflammation and COVID-19. Well, it's another beautiful morning. That's weird. I can see my breath. It's not cold. Been walking. This is 3 days in a row. I've been walking, but I haven't recorded a podcast. I've just been hanging out with my friends, socially distanced and masked. Of course, not masked today. I'm not planning to come within 6 feet of another person, though I usually would bring my mask. Just forgot it today. But that's the rule. There's a mask mandate in Arkansas. But all it means is indoors or outdoors, if you're going to be within 6 feet of someone else, you must wear a face covering. Someone that's not in your household, that is. And I think there's also an exception if you're eating something, like in a restaurant. But, so I'd heard from, let's just say, an advisor to the show, medical professional, that they had been seeing inflammation is a big component to the COVID-19. And so I wanted to dig into this a little bit deeper and see what we could find out about it. And, we know what COVID-19 is. It's the disease caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Very serious, very uncomfortable, very infectious. And I want to talk about how inflammation relates to it, but I realized that I don't really know what inflammation is. So the first thing I have to do is define it and learn about inflammation in general. It's the body's immune system response to an irritant. This could be an injury, a virus like SARS-CoV-2, or a foreign object like a thorn or a splinter. You might get a splinter in your finger, and that would be a foreign object that might cause an immune system response known as inflammation. Chemicals and radiation can also cause inflammation. And the symptoms are redness, heat, swelling, pain, or loss of function, such as the inability to smell. Morning.
Morning.
Like the Defense Department, the immune system has a number of weapons at its disposal. These include hormones that cause blood vessels at the site of the irritation to expand, and this allows more blood to get to the area. This is why you see, when you have an injury, it may, swell and become red and You might have some heat there. These hormones also connect to the nervous system and send pain signals to your brain to tell you to be more protective of the area. The hormones also make fluids flow to and from cells and through membranes to more easily flush out the irritant. And this is why you get a runny nose when you get the flu, and also why you might experience swelling. Seems to be a reason for just about everything. There are quite a few articles on this. I've linked a number of them in my show notes for today. You can find it at runningafever.com/241. It seems that the virus causes a radical increase in cytokine, which is one of those hormones of the immune system. Part of the immune system's arsenal. They call this a cytokine storm. Now, inflammation, in this case, of a cytokine storm can be so severe that it causes organ damage and even death. Obviously, if the right organs get damaged the right amount, then they're history. So this storm, this cytokine storm, is so intense that the body's natural clearing mechanisms cannot keep up. The body wants to just, when it has no more need for the inflammation tools, can flush those out of the system and get back to normal. But in this case, it's just too much to deal with. Obviously, in situations like this, then addressing the body's response could be as important as using a vaccine or other antiviral therapy. It's your body's response to the problem that kills you. So I want to note that it isn't only inflammation that causes damage in COV2 COVID-19 patients. There's also a direct damage to organs. And I put a link in the show notes to an article that has a nice diagram that I could not provide you. It's a good diagram there in that article that even non-medical people like myself could benefit from. The good news is that there are a number of safe anti-inflammatory drugs out there and in development that could be more effective than therapies that merely block cytokine. Obviously, we've been fighting inflammation or trying to control it much longer than we have been working on COVID-19. Morning. Now, you may remember from earlier episodes that Tom Brady's TB12 program also includes an anti-inflammatory diet. And if you want to check out some of those episodes on TB12, they are 120, 121, 122, and 129. There will be links in the show notes. I mean, obviously, we're not going to be taking a handful of anti-inflammatories on the chance that we get COVID-19. But we can still help to manage our inflammation in our bodies through diet. So here are some of the tips that I got from the Mayo Clinic site. Number 1, eat more plants. Number 2, focus on antioxidants. Antioxidants, which are the colorful fruit and vegetables, greens and oranges and grapes. Number 3, get your omega-3s. Omega-3 fatty acids. A lot of people get those from fish oil. Other ways to get them. Number 4, eat less red meat. Number 5, cut out the processed stuff. Don't eat eat as much sort of natural food as you can. Start reading the labels, people. Now, in addition to the Tom Brady stuff, I do have that book, and I'm sure that there's going to be more on this. Now, if you have particular questions or comments or things you want to enlighten me on with regard to inflammation, and especially as it relates to COVID-19 treatment and the progression of the disease, or any other questions or comments, you can contact me, mail at runningafever.com, and you can also comment on the blog at runningafever.com or our YouTube channel, runningafever.com/YouTube, and you can subscribe at those places as well to get notified every time a new episode or blog post comes out. So that's the name of that tune, Inflammation. Got the fever, keep it, and if you don't have it, get it, catch it. Talk to you later. See you next time on Running Fever.